I'm here with the Daily Caller News Foundation. My name is Vandana Rambaran, and we're here with Shay, who was a victim in the Jacksonville shooting. Thanks so much for being here today, Shay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into gaming, and what was your motivation?
I got into gaming when I was really young. I've been playing Madden competitively for I think almost 5 years now, 4 years, 4 to 5 years, something between that.
Great, and you're a championship winner, I understand.
Yeah, I won the Madden 18 Bowl, which was like the biggest tournament last year.
So what was the event exactly on the day of the shooting? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we were in a small little, they call them challenger events. They're third party hosted Madden tournaments linked into the big EA Major tournament. And it was out in Jacksonville, and it was the single elimination part of the tournament. So you have group stages the first day, which was Saturday, and then we had the single elimination tournament on Sunday. And so we had finished the first round. I ended up losing in overtime in the first round, and so I left the tournament. I was working on like 3 hours of sleep, and I just wanted to go back to my room and maybe take a nap. And I was going to come back for like the end of the tournament and watch like the finals or the final four or whatever. So I went back to my room and I was watching the other games on stream, and they had my friend Elijah's game on stream. And so they were showing his game, and he ended up just scoring a touchdown, and then the shots started coming out. And at first I didn't really know what they were. I knew they were gunshots because they were so loud on stream, but I thought that since we were the venue that we were in, it was kind of like a bar and stuff, so I thought someone might have came into the bar and was trying to like rob the place. And then the shots just started like coming down a lot of them like really quick, and I knew that something was up, that someone was like really shooting something up, and I didn't know if it was the venue or the bar or whatever. So I started calling everyone in my contacts, every single Madden player that was at the tournament that I had in my contacts, and no one was answering. Basically, about 10 minutes went by. I had gotten a hold of one of my friends that was at the tournament, and he was in a bathroom. He called me crying. He was saying that he thought my friend Elijah was dead, and that um, he was stuck with 30 other people, 30 other Madden players in this small little bathroom, and they didn't know if the shooter was still there or if he was still alive. And then he told me, he told me that he had talked to an EA employee that was at the event, and he said that the EA employee told him that when I left the tournament, that the shooter had asked the EA employee where I was going, and this was about 20 minutes before the shooting happened. So he said that he thought both of them thought I might be a target and that I should call the police. So I got really worried. I didn't know if he was still alive or anything like that. And my hotel was only about a mile away from the venue. So I didn't know if he was coming for me or whatever. I didn't know anything about the situation really because I wasn't there. So I called the police. They brought out an officer, and then an officer sat in my room for about an hour and a half until the shooter was confirmed dead.
And why do you think the shooter was looking for you?
I don't know. It seems to me like he had a couple targets that he wanted to like kill first, and I might have been one of them. I don't know.
Did you
Um,
know him?
I had never met him before. We had played online a couple times, but I'd never had like an interaction with him in person or anything like that. I'm not the type of person to like talk any type of trash online or anything like that either. So it was weird that it happened. And the same thing with both my friends that were victims, Taylor and Elijah. They both weren't the type of people to talk trash online or anything like that. I don't think, I think Elijah met him one time before this tournament, but Taylor never met him. About 95% of the people in the room never met him before, never, probably have never said a word to him. So it's just confusing, like why it happened.
And what was his online persona like when you would interact with him online?
Everyone knew that he was kind of a little weird online, like he was a little off. He did stuff, um, he did some like different stuff that normal players wouldn't do, that it was like, oh, he's just kind of weird. It wasn't like anything.
What do you mean by different stuff?
So for example, he would he would catch the ball and in the open field, and he would start like jumping, he would start hurdling when no players were near him and stuff. He would just like hurdle out of bounds, and like he would do certain stuff like that to where it was like he was doing this stuff, and it was almost like hurting him and like his chances of winning the game, or like it would like hurt him in getting more yards or something like that on a completion, and it was just like weird, but no one thought like it was thought anything of it. They just thought he was like a ultra troll or something, or he's just trying to like get in your head or something like that. And but when you look back at it, you're like, yeah, it was definitely there was definitely something off about him.
So when you were actually at the tournament that day, did you see him?
I remember a small glimpse in my eye. I didn't really like see him, but my friend was describing like what he was wearing after the fact that Sunday. And I remember a small glimpse. He was wearing a hat and he was wearing big sunglasses, and it just now that like I'm seeing that glimpse, it like looked like it didn't look like he was. It didn't like the venue was it was a dark room. It's like why like I don't know. It's just weird to think about now because I mean he was wearing these big sun. He obviously was trying to like stay undercover, I guess, because he had these big sunglasses, and he wore the same outfit both days of the tournament. So yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your friends Elijah and Taylor. How long have you guys been friends? And tell me a little bit about that.
So I knew Taylor for 3 years. I knew Elijah for about 4.5, almost 5 years. Elijah was one of my best friends, like one of my closest friends. We met when I first started playing Madden, like not full time, but when I first started playing Madden a lot more. We ended up playing a couple times online, and then we ended up getting to a party chat together. And I don't know if you're familiar with a party chat, but basically you can just like you just sit in there and you could be playing the same game and just talking to each other in there. Um, so we basically talked for about almost about every day for the last like 4.5 years. We met each other multiple times at multiple events, and we hung out outside of the events a couple of times. I live in Seattle, he lived in LA, so it was kind of hard to hang out. But we hung out multiple times. We were at the same tournaments multiple times as well. Um, and then Taylor, I had met Taylor at my first tournament that I went to. That was about 3 years ago, and we knew each other from online and stuff, and we had uh, like seen each other multiple times at these tournaments and stuff. And at these tournaments, you're there for 6 days sometimes, so you're hanging out with these people on pretty much all day, and then you're going out to eat with them, and you really get to know these people when you're out there. So I felt like I was really close with Taylor, and I was really close with Elijah as well.
So how have you been holding up ever since?
It's been it's been tough. I've had a lot of support, so that's made it easier. The biggest thing for me is just trying to keep myself preoccupied, trying to keep my mind off my mind, like trying to keep myself out of my own thoughts, because that's hard right now. But it's been rough. You go through a lot of different emotions on a day-to-day basis. You're confused, you're mad, and then you're sad, and um, it's just weird. I think the biggest thing for me right now is I don't understand why it happened, and that's like it's really confusing trying to piece it all together and understand like why this kid did this. And um, yeah, I'll never be able to get that answer. So it just sucks.
Have you played since that day?
No, I haven't even unpacked my PS4 out of my suitcase to play. So no, I haven't played at all.
So tell us, how did you meet Cameron Caskey?
So Cameron had hit me up after the shooting. He DM'd me. A lot of like reporters and stuff DM'd me. So I was laying in my bed at like 1 a.m. Eastern time. And I was going through these DMs just to like see who DM'd me or whatever and stuff like that. And I clicked on Cameron's profile and I saw that he was from the Parkland shooting. So I responded to him. Eventually we got onto a call that night for a little bit. And then he introduced me to Michael, which Michael and Cameron, they have been both setting up this thing up like really, really, they've been putting a lot of effort into setting up this stream and trying to get as much money donated to the victims' families. And I'm really appreciative of meeting them.
So tell me a little bit about the event on Monday. What you hope, first of all, a little bit about it, what it's going to be like, and what you hope to achieve from it.
So the event is going to start at 2:30 Eastern time. I'm going to be playing Mike Evans in a couple Madden games or maybe some Fortnite. I'm not sure yet, but I think we're going to primarily focus on Madden. So I'm going to be playing some Madden. I'm going to talk about what happened to the people that are viewing the stream, just in case anyone doesn't know my story with it. So I'm going to talk about my story, but basically I'm just going to try to keep it casual, try to keep it, it's going to be tough for me to be all like fun and stuff, but I'm going to try to keep it as fun as I can and try to keep it casual. Yeah.
Are you excited or nervous about playing again since then?
I haven't really thought about it still. Like I'm obviously going to be confronted with it when Monday hits, but I still haven't really thought about playing just because I don't want to think about getting on and not talking to my friend, not being able to talk to my friend who passed, because like I said, almost every day we've talked online. Pretty much every time I would get on, we would just sit there playing Madden for a few hours at night, just talking pretty much every day. So it's going to be tough not ever being able to talk to him again.
So did you know about Cameron? Had you ever heard Cameron's name before or anything like that before he messaged you?
No, I don't really pay attention to like politics and stuff like that. I knew about the Parkland shooting and I knew like the basic details, but I didn't know really any of the survivors or anything like that. But I clicked on his profile and I saw that he was doing all this stuff, trying to bring awareness to the shooting and stuff, and I knew that he meant well. So I just reached out to him.
So had you ever followed any, gun violence issues, legislation, events, anything like that? Was it something that was interesting to you or something that you paid attention to before?
So I was a little interested in politics in high school when the election was going on, when the primary election was going on. I stopped following it a little bit after the election took place, but I've never really like thought about the gun laws or anything like that. I'm not like too familiar with it. The one thing I do know is I know that I believe that he shouldn't have been able to legally buy a gun. Just reading off his past and stuff, and it was pretty obvious that something was off with him, and like, and I'm fine with an average American, an average law-abiding citizen having a gun, but someone like that definitely shouldn't be able to just walk up and have a gun, be able to legally buy a gun.
So for someone who's been affected by gun violence, obviously, has it changed I know you've spoken about it a little right there, but could you elaborate how it's shaped your perspective on gun legislation?
I've had this opinion even before the shooting happened. I've always agreed with that people should be able to protect themselves and people should be able to bear arms, but it has to be the right people. There's too many instances, it's too many similarities within each of these shootings where it's these kids steal the guns from their parents or they legally buy the guns and stuff, and they shouldn't be able to have any access to guns. And that's my basic opinion on it. I haven't dove deep into the discussion really, but that's just like my opinion right now.
And do you have any opinions on how legislation could change or any suggestions that you would like to see implemented, going forward?
No, I'm not sure. That's not it's not my job to like know that type of stuff. But I do know that something needs to be done, and it doesn't it doesn't come down to being a Democrat or a Republican type issue. It's a moral issue, and like these things, you never you it's so hard to explain to people like what it feels like to go through it because it's such a rare thing that happens, and you never watching the news, you never think that this could happen to you until it does, and it's the worst feeling ever. I don't want any kid or anyone to have this feeling that I've had losing my friends, and I couldn't even imagine the victims' families. So I just want them both to just come together and try to find a solution to end this.
And, people do say, some people think guns do make us safer. Do you have any message towards those people?
Um, it depends on the situation. I think they can make you safer, home defense and stuff, and self-defense. But when the guns aren't in the right people's hands, it's not making you safer. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Shay. We really appreciate it, and good luck at the event on Monday. And take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.